Welcome back on Mode. Today I want to propose you a video about the unboxing review about this special box that it's only sold on Amazon, that it's about the Transformers Legacy, the Wreck and Rule collection, and this it includes Spinole, that it's this one, that it's a fossilizer, and this comic universe Impactor that I admit I don't know too much, that it's this one. Sincerely, the reason cause I bought this, it's cause I wanted Spinole, and it's not the first box of this that I bought, cause in the description you can find my playlist about the Transformers, and you can find also this one that it's the previous one that I bought and I quite like about this. So I decided to have both of them because they were the two fossilizer and I quite like the idea. Here we have the box. As you can see, it's really quite simple, like this. I suggest you, sincerely, here we have the background with the two modules, so the robot and this, we can call that the heavy tank about this, that it's Impactor, that should be a sort of Megatron, technically, but remember that it's this an Autobot, and here we have Spinole, that it's also an Autobot, and so we have the different pieces and so on. Sincerely, if you go to throw away such box, I suggest you to keep the images, because I think that they are really quite nice and they are really quite worth to keep, because it's quite nice, even as background and so on. I think that it's nice and it would be a pity to throw away like this, so really quite nice. What I like is that this box it's with the pieces like card or making cards, but it's not a problem about the other box that I've seen about such edition, that it's with the hole in front and it's all covered, and it's much better to preserve the model themselves without any dust falling inside. Here we have the instruction that, as usually, I suggest you to use and to keep, because they could be useful. Here the guarantee, and as you can see, we can make as transformation and so on. And remember that this Spinosaurus anyway could be also transformed in weaponry, but you don't have to necessarily use such type of weaponry, so you can transform in any way that you want and play with it to make the way to make the assembly. So this it's an option, not a must have. Then we have also here the way to transform the other models, so that we can know for sure, and it's really quite important about knowing how to transform, so till you memorize, it's nice. And then we have this, that it's the part about the hammer. Remember that we've seen also before that there was in the previous wreck this, that it was the base. In here we have this one, that it's with the symbol of the Autobots, that it's the center head. So if I not buy the things, all the boxes, we have only two pieces, even if I'm thinking about buying at least another one, because I'm quite liking, and sincerely I'm not buying because I need this piece. It's because I like such collection, really. I think that it's nice, and so these instructions are really quite useful anyway, so it's something that it's better to have always available. This is the part of the hammer, as you can see, so you need the other pieces to keep it in positioning, so okay, but still quite nice. Eventually you can use a box to put something on and so on, like a sort of basis or a container. Could be quite nice anyway, or a decoration anyway, but better to complete if you think about wanting to use this for sure. So in this piece we have these accessories that are these for the Dinobot, or better, for the fossilizer. Here we have the other ones for the other, also this could be for the fossilizer anyway. So little things, but they are really quite interesting and useful for the things once you transform and so on. About Spinoole in the robot version, we can say that there are not holes that you can see that are there are, because it's a long line. It's really a long line also in the robot version. Remember that you have these holes that are in the arms, here in the hands, that can be used to use, for example, the tail that should be a platforming, but it can be used as a sword. I like quite a lot, and there are some holes here, but there are really the attaching parts, so it's not a problem. Remember that they are delicate about these parts eventually, so you have to pay attention about keeping, but it's not a problem because it's an assembly one. You have the head that can be put up and down, so it can be changed, and you can really create a sort of long line design that I quite like. About the back, it's perfect, and these holes are not something that I should say that are problematic. Here there is the part of the mouth, so that it's not a lot problematic, and it's covered also here, so it's a sort of really quite good back. So it's really quite interesting. Obviously there is also here that you can change a bit the positioning of the head itself, so you have really to pay a bit of attention and so on, but I quite like this. It's a robot that really, it's simple as one and can change completely based on how you want to play, and I quite like this. It's mainly related about assembly together with the other fossilizer, and it's really a nice thing. And here instead we can see the comparison of the Spinoole and Masterdominus in the robot version. And sincerely they are not so different as volumetric, because as you can see they are really quite similar ones as size. Obviously this it seems to have a much more mass, but it's really quite amazing to see the comparison of this size against the alternative mode, because we can see that in the alternative mode Spinoole it's much bigger than the Masterdominus, but because this has more mass, it's more volume and so on compressed, than this that instead it's about having longer body. So it's really quite fun in a way to see, because it's something intriguing about. So here we had the Spinoole in the Dinobot, we can call like this version. Sincerely, I quite like this model. It's much better than I thought when I see at the beginning, because it's much bigger and much more detailed and so on, and much more realistic, I'd say too. So I quite like. There are only some problems, little ones. So the ankles that are not so great, but they are not bad. We have this part that it's always to transform, but it's quite solid. It's still that I always fear that it break, but it's quite solid, so it's not a problem. It's simply a fear because it's an unusual way to connect the parts, but it's not bad at all. And I quite like because there are a lot of pieces that you can use to transform this piece in other, so you can modify the robot version and so on. You can combine easily with other robot or with other fossilizers to create something else. So it's not bad. And also the positioning, okay, it's maybe a bit delicate, but once that you find the position, it's quite solid and more balanced than I thought. It's not completely actual in the consideration about the Spinosaurus, but you have also to remember that they are quite late, the ones that changed the way. And this, it's not bad at all, even if you think about being a Spinosaurus eventually. And about the colors, I can say that it's a sort of presentation of the fossilizing, so in a way it's still in some way quite real, so not bad. There is also a little trick that I want to make you see, and it's that behind here, in these pieces, there is this thing that you could take off and have other pieces that you can link and so on eventually. So it could be quite useful for everything to change or so on. So pay attention because you can have quite a lot of fun with. And here we can compare the size of the Spinoole against the Impactor, and the Spinoole is much bigger. Okay, it's technically a really long and so on with less mass compared to Impactor. Still, the difference could be seen, so it's not bad at all. Here we can see the comparison of Spinoole against Masterdominus, and we can see that this is really quite bigger than the other one, really. This it's an amazing one of the Spinosaurus. Okay, about the Spinosaurus has been evolved quite a lot, the concept about with the last finding and so on. Still, it's really quite nice. And here, interesting comparison of Spinoole against the Troglodon. So both types of Spinosaurus, and we can see as this one, it's really much bigger than the other one, at least ahead, let's say. But you want to use Spinoole like a substitute for the Troglodon, it's up to you, because anyway it has some potential, and okay, it's silly, but I like the idea. About the Impactor, sincerely has some good things, good vibe, because the model it's not bad if you see, but there are some holes here, these are really big holes. It's a pity that they are like this, because they should be covered without any problem, because they are like this when you combine and so on. So this it's something that it's not understandable why it is, because okay, I understand these ones, also these ones could be taken off sincerely, because they could be closed without any problem. Really, I am really thinking about closing these ones by myself to make it much more interesting. And if you think about this one, it's not technically a problem, these parts, because okay, there is some little holes, but it's understandable. There is quite a lot of maneuverability, so it's quite nice if you think about. You can even change this one, it's in a good way, so it's not bad at all. The process, it's really quite simple. This part can be taken off, so it's not a problem, it's up to you decide how you want to use. This could be used, for example, this, so you can anyway use, so it's not a problem. It's a bit of platforming eventually, but it's nothing particularly problematic or so on. So it has quite a lot of potential. It has also quite a lot of it could be done much better. Still, I quite like, so it's not bad at all if you think about. Here we can make a comparison of Impactor against Leadfoot, because technically they are two of the same series of the American rules, and we can see that this is much more bigger than this one, even if we raise this one. So it's really much bigger, even if the models are quite similar, but this has many less holes than this one. And we can also compare the size against the other one, that is this one, so against Soundwave, so that we can see a classical one, and this anyway it's still a bit bigger than the other two, because this, okay, it's understandable, and here you can understand the difference, because technically these two ones are not so different when in the alternative mode. Instead, in the robot mode there is quite a lot of mass shifting of the two, so it's really quite intriguing. But remember that this still has such anti-static holes that has a problem. Still, it's not bad, and I can say which one I prefer, because this has a much easier transformation to move. This one, it's a bit problematic about the legs, but it's still amazing, the final effect, and I like both of them more than a foot. About Impactor, I have to say that in this mode it's not bad, and okay, under here it's not a problem to see something, and it's really much better in vehicle mode than it is in the robot mode, in my opinion. In a way, you can also make some changes and so on. You can rotate this one, so you have some, but if you rotate, you expose this part, so it's not the best to do. And as you see, this ribbon is, instead of what I said that it was related about Spinole, it's for Impactor, but you could use without any problems. The thing that I don't like too much is that when you convert this in the robot mode, the Impactor one, a lot of things should be some additional part, so it's okay, but in a way you can use as weapon and so on, so you can find a way to play with them. Remember that this is the piece that technically you can rotate without any problem, but you can detach if you need, so it can be useful. And it's much better than I thought, sincerely, in this version, and you can personalize quite a lot and improve a way to have such one, so it's not so bad. Another thing to notice about such model is that under here there is such wheels that can move, even if they don't make enough grip on the pieces of the terrain and so on. Still, there is, so technically it can move on the surfaces. Here we can see the difference of size of this, that is Leadfoot against Impactor, so we can see that technically are not so different in length and so on, but I quite like. I wanted to compare to these ones because technically are both break and rules, so I really quite like to compare them. Okay, we need some walker. Okay, I really like such positioning, really. It's really quite amazing one. Spinole Impactor Fusion! So here we can see another version. So I use simply another type in such a way. We had the head that, as you can see, it's linked here by the legs. I made back here the head of Impactor so that I can use such one like this as the head itself. So it's another version. About this I use like this a sort of additional arms about this, so it's using these that are the legs and the I can say the arms, the scaffold, anyway the feet, that can be the hands, and then I put this to create the tail. Sincerely, I did this simply because I haven't had ideas about, but it's an option. And this as the shadows are power up, so really simple things, but really quite nice. And I want to thank two people, Willy Wasti aka Zoosparkle, that is the one that I go to see usually the videos related about the dinosaur song, because it's always out and I like him talking about such arguments. I invite you to see the link in the description about his YouTube channel. And Fabrizio Lavezzi, that it's the one that it's a paleo artist that make also 3D models about the dinosaurs and made me have the frame about the Spinosaurus, the actual version of the Spinosaurus known when I'm registering such video, that I really thanks him to have me let have it and be able to make you see such things so that you can understand how much it developed the idea of the Spinosaurus itself. Even if I like such Spinoole, still this is based on an older version, so I like to see the actual one. So really thanks to both of them. So what to say about these two robots? Sincerely, I think that they are nice. I love both of them. I know that there are molds that can be seen in other parts. For example, this it's common for the fossilizer and this it's for other pieces and so on. So it's not a problem, but I like them. So sincerely, I suggest such pack because you can have both models that are really quite intriguing and combine in a lot of different ways and so on, and have a lot of fun. Moreover, about Spinoole, that it's the main part because I decided to buy such box, but amazing, simply really amazing. So if you are able to do, it's only Amazon one, but it's quite worth in my opinion. Okay, you have to have also other models, but I think that you can have quite a lot of fun even with the two. About the colors, it's not a problem, as I said, because they recall me a lot about presentation, so it's really quite nice. So from that mode, it's everything. I invite you to subscribe to the channel, to ring the bell so to receive notification about new video, to comment under here about this video, or if you want to suggest me new videos. So I hope to see you again to the next time.